Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back for another video. As you can see, got some knives laid out here on the table, and I'm going to get into talking about those in just a second. But I hope that intro was a little interesting, and trust me, it's going to make sense in a few minutes here. I hope. That's the goal. That's the plan. But this video is basically kind of like a philosophy video on knives and buying knives and just the attitude on knives in general, and where I think we're headed. And I say we, I'm including myself in this because I do knife reviews. I talk about knives on my YouTube channel, so I include myself in this. So I'm not calling people out. I'm just kind of posing an idea, or just sharing my thoughts, really, with all of you. I'm not calling people out. I'm just letting you know where I think we're headed in the knife community. This is just kind of my opinion. But really what I wanted to start talking off with, and I don't want to make this an extremely long video, but as you can see, I've got some knives on the table, and immediately you see all kinds of different knives. You see different lock mechanisms. You see we've got a ball bearing lock on the Spyderco Manix 2. We've got liner locks. We've got the Axis lock. We've got a lock back. All different kinds of knives, different price ranges. You know, you got a $15 knife, a $30 knife, a $75 knife, an $85 knife, and a $100 knife. You know, all kinds of different knives on the table, as you can see. We've also got all kinds of different handle materials. You've got plastic, or I guess it's a copolymer, whatever you want to call it. It's just plastic. Another plastic. We got another plastic. We got G10. We got another all kinds of different plastics, different colors. You know, different torque screws in the handles, you know, different deployment holes, all this stuff. What am I trying to say here? Well, I bet you most of us, and this is just my opinion, we're not thinking about the blade. We're not thinking about how the knife cuts. You know, what kind of blade material is it? Does the knife cut? What's the intended purpose of buying a knife? To cut. For most people. Maybe you're into collecting knives, and that's fine. As you can see, I've got a little collection here of larger folders. But what I'm trying to say here is that the knife's intended purpose is to cut something. You know, whether you're cutting open a package, you're cutting open a box, you're using it in your EDC for whatever tasks that you need this knife to cut. That's why you buy it. And as you guys kind of saw in the intro, that's what I was trying to illustrate. I was trying to point out that it doesn't matter what kind of knife you see here. It doesn't matter even if you have something like this little Victorinox right here, this little Victorinox blade. For many tasks, it cuts just as well as all of these other knives. Because it has a sharp edge, it's metal, it cuts. You know, it cuts. That's what the blade's for. Some of these blades, they'll probably fail if you try to spine whack it. You know, you whack it up against your hand, you whack it up against a tree, something like that. Does that make the knife bad? Absolutely not. Does it make this knife bad that it's a lockback folder and it doesn't have, you know, an extremely beefy liner lock like the Spyderco Tenacious here? No, not at all. You know why? Because the knife's purpose is to cut. To cut. You know, cut something. Do I want to cut my hand? No, I'm just doing that for illustrative purpose. But why am I talking about this? What's my point here? What am I trying to get across to everyone? What I want to say is, I see in all of these videos on YouTube, and just in general in the knife community, I see a lot of the videos, and again, I'm not calling anyone out, because I'm including myself in this. I see the majority of these knife videos are talking about everything else but the knife, but the intended purpose of the knife, to cut. How does it cut? Does it cut? Does your knife cut? Does this knife cut? Does that one cut? How does it cut? I see, what I mean by that is, when I look at a knife review, and once again, you can look at any of mine, and I'm guilty of doing this as well. I see the majority of these videos talking about everything but the knife, the cut, how it cuts. You know, using it and seeing how it's used. It's just everyone talking about their opinions on knives, which is great, and it's really useful for a lot of different things. I'm not disagreeing with that, but it's something that I noticed. It's just an observation I had, and I'm just trying to share it and kind of see what your guys' thoughts are on this. But it seems like the majority of the video is talking about, you know, the handle material, the pocket clip, what color the pocket clip is, how grippy the handle is, whether it has, you know, the weight of the knife, the dimensions of the knife, the colors, what kind of torque screws they have, you know, whether or not the knife's adjustable, the deployment hole, how it feels in your hand, all these different things. But the majority of the video is about everything other than the blade. The majority of the videos are not about using the blade. They're not about experience with the blade. They're just about talking about the overall general features of the knife. Now, there are exceptions. You know, there's a lot of people that don't do that. There's a lot of people that do just majority. They talk about the actual knife. They talk about the cutting edge. They talk about how well it cuts, and they show the knife cutting. And that's really what I want to say is I want, at least for myself, I want any future knife videos that I do, or knife reviews, I should say, I want the majority of the video, or a larger portion, to be about using the knife. Actually, instead of just sitting here talking about all the specs to you guys, that's information you can find on any knife sale website. You know, you can go to Amazon.com, Blade HQ, any of the websites. You can see the majority of the information that we talk about in all these reviews, again, myself included. And that information is good in a video, but this was just a discussion to kind of share my thoughts about what I see going on in all the knife reviews, even the reviews I do, and I kind of see just everything going away from whether or not the knife cuts or how well it cuts. And I just think it would be cool to start to see some videos of just using the knife, more of using the knife and less of talking about the features of the knife and what each person likes individually. Those are great things, but I mean, we've seen this with several different knife makers, and it's all kind of come about from the forums or people on YouTube doing spine wax, you know. And I did a spine whack video. Look up the Buck Vantage Select and search beactivelife. I put up a spine whack video where I was whacking on the spine of the knife, saying, "Look, this knife fails. This knife fails." I should be holding the Buck Vantage while I say that, but you know, because I was whacking it on something. You know how stupid that is? What are you going to use your knife to where you're going to have to whack on the spine of the blade? And that was dumb of me to even put that video up. But you know, I just see, and other people have talked about this before, but I see knife makers even knife companies becoming pressured to try and make a stronger lockup the primary function of the blade, because people are complaining that, you know, these knives fail because the lockup didn't withstand 5,000 pounds of pressure on a spine whack or whatever. That's an exaggeration, obviously, but I'm kind of getting beside the point. But again, this was just a discussion, kind of sharing my thoughts and opinions. I really think that it would be more useful, at least for me, and in my future knife reviews, is to see more of using the knives and actually talking about experience. Even if we're not steel experts, you know, we don't know all about this steel or that steel or this steel. Just share what you do know. Show the knife being used. Actually get out there and cut some stuff. Show it doing some of the daily things that people would need to do in their EDC roles. And that's really all this was. It's just something to think about as far as in the knife community, or not to. You know, if you disagree with me, feel free to let me know. I'm open to discussion. Just wanted to get this video out and share what I've been thinking about. It's just something that I want to do personally with my channel. If I do more, and I will do more, when I do more knife reviews, I really want to show the knife being used for its intended purpose more, and that is to cut. Anyways, that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this, or you found it entertaining or useful or something. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.